But on Monday, Democrats were dealt a major setback when Republican Senator Cory Gardner, who's trailing Democrat John Hickenlooper in the
Listening
Colorado
to
Senate race, and
difficult
Senator
news
Chuck Grassley of Iowa,
while
they both supported
also
holding
tuning
a vote
in
on a nominee before
and listening
the election. Trump appeared
to
by phone on Fox News Monday, falsely claiming
meditating
his
with
burning wish that she not be replaced
the
until a
body
new president is installed with
in a
Democratic
language
vote.
that's influenced by yoga and modern dance.
Justice Ginsburg
ballet.
is scheduled to lie in state in the Capitol Friday. The
So I
first woman
suggest, if you
proceeding
wish,
before this,
if
she'll
this
lie
isn't
in repose
absolutely
at the Supreme
impossible
Court
for
2
you,
days outside due
that
to
you
the
just make
pandemic.
space,
She will be interred in a
and
private service Tuesday.
move.
at the
Use your
National
couch.
Cemetery, where her husband, Martin
Use your
Ginsburg,
rug.
was also buried in 2010. Attorney General William Barr is threatening to cut billions of dollars in federal funds to New York City, Seattle, and Portland, Oregon, after
Sorry,
designating
Abby.
cities as so-called anarchist
time thing.
jurisdictions. The Justice Department claims the cities, quote, have permitted violence and destruction of property to persist. New York Attorney General Letitia James slammed the designation as illegal. She said, quote, this designation is nothing more than a pathetic attempt to scare Americans into voting for a commander-in-chief who's actually incapable of commanding our nation, she said. As the U.S. coronavirus death toll hits 200,000, the Centers for Disease Control is facing new criticism. On Friday, the CDC posted guidance on its website stating for the first time that COVID-19 could possibly be spread by airborne transmission. But then on Monday, the CDC deleted the information saying it was posted in error. This marks the third time the CDC has posted coronavirus guidance and then reversed its position. Meanwhile, Alex Azar, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, has signed a memo barring the Food and Drug Administration and other health agencies from issuing or signing any. Critics describe Azar's move as a power grab at a time when the FDA will play a pivotal role in the approval process for a potential COVID-19 vaccine. Meanwhile, the Daily Beast has revealed that a public relations staffer inside the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases secretly ran a right-wing website where he called his boss, Dr. Anthony Fauci, a masked Nazi, and implied that, quote, government officials responsible for the pandemic
So what I'm doing
should be
is
executed, unquote. The staffer, William Cruz, announced his retirement Monday
on
after
my
the Daily
skull.
Beast exposed his work at the website redstate.com. In international news, 156 nations have formally joined together to ensure the fair distribution of future COVID-19 vaccines. The United States and China have both declined to join the effort known as COVAX, which is being organized by the World Health Organization. A new report by House Democrats finds immigrant prisoners in U.S. custody systematically receive inadequate medical, dental, and mental health care and face solitary confinement as a punishment for
Working on
speaking out.
spine.
The report also details how immigrants are forced to perform unpaid labor, including cleaning the prisons. As coronavirus cases continue to surge inside immigration and customs enforcement prisons, the report notes, quote, the spread of COVID-19 has further highlighted how the failures to meet these standards of care are a matter of life and death, unquote. In related news, Cipriano Chavez Alvarez, a 61-year-old man from Mexico, died early Monday in a Georgia hospital after getting COVID-19 while imprisoned at the privately run Stewart Detention Center. He's the 20th person to die while in ICE custody this fiscal year, the highest number in the past 15 years. At least 7 of these deaths have been related to COVID-19. In Afghanistan, dozens of security personnel and Taliban fighters were killed across Afghanistan Sunday in the bloodiest day of fighting since intra-Afghan peace talks began a little over a week ago. On Saturday, at least 12 civilians were reportedly killed in airstrikes in a Taliban base in the northeastern province of Kunduz. In Colombia, at least 6 people were killed in what locals say was a massacre Sunday in the southwest region of Cauca. At least 1 child was among the victims. A local organization says this is the 10th massacre in the region so far this year. Monitoring groups say at least 60 massacres have occurred across Colombia this year, killing 244 people. social leaders in particular have been targeted by armed groups. Human rights activists and members of the filmmaking industry are calling for the release of award-winning Sudanese filmmaker Haji Kuka, who was sentenced to 2 months in jail alongside 4 other artists after their theater workshop was raided. Critics say it's part of a crackdown on the arts and activism. Haji Kuka is a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences and is best known for his documentary Beats of the Antelope. He was active during the Sudanese revolution that ousted longtime ruler Omar al-Bashir in April of 2019. Scientists say Arctic sea ice shrank to its second lowest level on record this summer due to global heating. A recent study found the climate in the Arctic is changing so rapidly, the landscape is drastically shifting from being covered in ice and snow to being characterized by open water and rain. This is Dr. Laura Miller of Greenpeace.
The rapid loss of sea ice in the Arctic is a sobering indicator of how closely our planet is circling the terrain. And as the Arctic melts, more heat will be absorbed by the ocean, and all of us will be more exposed to the devastating impact of climate breakdown.
The Trump administration's tapped a meteorologist who questions the link between extreme weather and climate change to be the new chief scientist at NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Ryan Maui is a former scholar at the Libertarian Cato Institute who's publicly criticized many prominent climate scientists, including Dr. James Hansen and the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Texas has issued disaster declarations in over 24 counties, and Louisiana has declared a state of emergency as Tropical Storm Beta made landfall late Monday, causing flooding along the coastline and washing away Galveston, Texas pier. The Atlantic's record-breaking hurricane season this year marks just the second time in history meteorologists have had to start naming storms using the Greek alphabet after exhausting possible names from letters A to W. In California, 2 Kumeyaay land defenders were arrested on Monday as the community engages in an ongoing protest against Trump's border wall on sacred land. Kumeyaay land defenders and allies have peacefully camped and held prayer ceremonies along the wall's construction route in the San Diego area for several weeks, successfully blocking the construction of nearly a mile of the border wall. The Bureau of Land Management yesterday presented an order to evict the camp, threatening protesters with arrest if they don't leave. The camp has also faced surveillance and harassment from Border Patrol and ICE and local white supremacists. In related news, his mother reports Customs and Border Protection drones conducted flyovers near the homes of Indigenous anti-pipeline activists, including Tom Goldtooth of the Indigenous Environmental Network. Meanwhile, in Arizona, Tohono O'odham land and water defenders led a protest Monday, blocking the border wall's construction for several hours near a sacred spring inside the Organ Pike National Monument. Protesters carried a banner that said "Borders equals genocide, no wall on O'odham land." National Park Service and Border Patrol agents on the scene started shoving protesters, forcing them to disperse after an hours-long standoff. Wall construction crews in the Sonoran Desert have destroyed pristine landscape and pumped millions of gallons of groundwater into mixed cement for Trump's wall.
Inside
The Government Accountability Office is investigating the Pentagon's interest in using weapons against protesters near the White House, as well as the use of other so-called non-lethal weapons that were deployed on anti-police brutality protesters in recent months. Demands for an independent investigation into the use of force began in June, days after federal police violently cleared peaceful protesters from Lafayette Square in D.C. with tear gas and smoke. In Florida, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis announced plans for new legislation that aims to clamp down on protests. The new measures, if passed, would charge protesters with felonies for property damage and impose
then
mandatory
cast your
jail time
hands
for
the way
any
that
police
you are
officer.
then.
The bill would also block local jurisdictions that move to defund police from receiving Florida state grants. In Nebraska, a white bar owner who was indicted last week in the fatal shooting of James Sherlock, a black protester, died by suicide. Jake Gardner died Sunday, the day he was due to turn himself in to authorities. James Sherlock was shot dead on May 30th during protests over the killing of George Floyd. He was 22 years old. And in Kentucky, the Louisville police announced a state of emergency Monday as the city prepares for a grand jury decision in the police killing of Breonna Taylor. police fatally shot the 26-year-old Black emergency room technician in her own home on March 13th. Federal buildings have been closed for the week in Louisville, and federal forces were called into the city last week. Meanwhile, authorities in Wisconsin have announced the investigation of the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha has entered its final stages. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the quarantine report. When we come back, as COVID spreads in ICE jails, and another immigrant was reported dead from the virus Monday in Georgia ICE jail, we'll go to Georgia to speak with a nurse whistleblower who says ICE ignored public health protocols during the pandemic and forcibly sterilized detained immigrant women. Dawn Wooten will join us from Atlanta. Stay with us.
You're reaching down with your legs. Reach, 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 reach. Push up. Come up on your toes. Lift the body so it's straight, not piped, not sagging, but straight. Broaden your shoulder blades. Yes. And then the arms. Reach out and pull. Okay, so I'm going to turn off Amy. Because though I really think it's good to listen to news, I had promised Annabeth that I would create a video with waves. Waves that go through the arms and reach over the top. And this is a preoccupation, a technical preoccupation of that waving, and then I want to just roll. And then wave. Going up, reaching down, reaching forward, reaching back, reach, reach, come up around this axis, and down. So I'm trying to reach up as though with a pole. Oh. Reach up as though with a pole, reach back, to reach up the pole and reach back, you slide out, and then you're out along this pole, and then you let the pole direct your explorations of going around and down, up, and then the pole directs your exploration of around. And I'm going to go slowly on because this is new for me. Wow. Gosh almighty. Oh. It's not ever just about moving for me. It has to be moving with pretty lines. Because the lines actually have qualities of reach and extension, which I always thought would feel very good. To pull the limbs out of the skeleton. Pull the limbs out from your arm, your other arm. Press the foot into the ground. I can never leave the screen. This is my foot. This is another foot. Reach back. Reach out. Oh, I'm scared now. I'm going down. Scared, scared, scared. I didn't have to lose that. I could have held that concentration and gone down. Should I make myself do it again? What was it? This is hard for me this way. I'm down here, so I must have come down there. And my feet are crossed. So they must have been crossed. Come back up. Okay. So I was probably here. And I did to come down. That's right. I was reaching this foot back. Reaching it back. Reaching it back. Lowering down. And here, if the arm reaches out that way, it controls my descent. And I land lightly. And then I reach down and reach out. And I could explore this. Wow. Okay. Oof. It's like I'm a fisher person. I'm a fisherman on a boat. A Viking boat. An archaic boat. Phew. Archaic boat. Paddle in, push, reach, reach, push, reach, 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 figure eights. Okay. Pivot. That feels very good on my sore neck and shoulder. going to fall back. Round away, forward, arc up, drop back, stay. Go carefully. Be nice if you're on carpeted ground. You might practice just going down to know where down is. You're not saying this is wise yogic practice. You're saying it is my practice and there are elements in it that you would safely do. And go very slowly. This is not recommended if you're not strong, because you don't want to fall backwards. Come on. Reach, reach, reach. Come back. Forward, up. Back. I know my body. It's frightening. Crash. We should have spent so much more time development. The ladder dance was a dance I did with ladders, wooden ones, and we didn't spend long enough time developing the material. You can't let things fall on the ground like that. It sounds painful and abrasive. So we should have kept working until we knew how to throw and catch our ladders. It was an interesting idea. It wasn't one. It was very fully thought out. That we can't do, you see, it has to. We have to get the right angles. Shoot. Shoot. Do it faster, do it. So it's working images. I'd like it to just fall back, slide, energy back. This comes forward. Wow, wow, wow. You're climbing up the mast. And then it turns over. Catch the fish. Comes over. Can't touch the floor. It has to stay away. You can't make these sounds. Wow. So now this is the fisherman's move. I'm fishing and spearing all the way around a circle, the center of which I am. Eskimo imagery. This is just too white. White person appropriating the idea of the indigenous Eskimo to make a dance. How many privileged white middle class dancing girls made dances about Native Americans? While those same Native Americans would never have afforded to be in those dancing schools. That is all over now. And yet, this middle class dancing girl is busy spearing fish in the icy Nordic waters, where she will have fishing moves. Annabeth, do you want to do a piece about fishing? Puerto Rico, Mexico. I have to keep working for an hour. My fishing moves. Fishing pole spin. Fishing moves. Spearing fish. You have to get yourself a stick of bamboo. However long this is, what is it? A meter. 2 meters long. Okay, so because this is live, I don't know how to use it very much. So straighten the legs, press the backs of the knees to the ground. So you're pressing the legs straight, rolling them straight. That doesn't feel good to roll onto your shins, but you're rolling, you're pressing your thighs down. Press the backs of the knees down. Now pull the butt flesh out from the sit bones so you get better contact. Especially the first 2 top inches of your thighs. Press them down. The first 4 inches, the backs of your thighs, press that into the ground. Your sacrum tilts forward, let it tilt forward more. Press the legs down. Just stay here, letting the back widen away from center. Press the thighs down. Draw yourself up, 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 up and out the ground. Press the first 4 inches of your thighs down. Flex. That can hurt, but the heels can come off. Don't let them go down and press down. Keep the heels down and press down. Let the sacrum come forward so the lower back is arched. And then let the belly Careful. Let your belly organs go down as your bones go this way. Your bones, your spine. But you're sending the belly that way. You're sending the organs that way as you follow the bones that way. Bones. And the organs lead you back and around. And you send the bones around. And bring the organs down. The bones are circling one way, and you think of the organs inside you as spiraling the other, so the bones and the organs are counter-spiraling. The bones are spiraling that way. The organs are spiraling that way. And you allow yourself to roll. The bones are going this way, sending the organs that way. Bones are going that way. Organs are going that way. What are your organs? Your brain and all of its nice fluids. Your trachea and the adrenal glands and things that are in your neck. Glands at the base of the neck, glands higher in the neck, your lungs, your heart. Bones are going that way, so your heart and your lungs that way. The bones keep dropping that way, the organs catch up. And then the bones go the other way, the organs stay down. The bones keep going that way, the organs fall over and catch up. And you can imagine any organ that is feeling uncomfortable, the bones are going that way, you're sending the organs down. And the bones are there, they pull the organs over. And the organs go down, the bones. You just play with that idea for a while. If the floor is hard, use mats. Use your rug. You can even do this sitting in a swivel chair. Send the bones with the chair, send the organs the other way. Send the organs with the chair, send the bones the other way, then bones, then right bone, then bones, then right bone, then right bones. Hear the work, admire the work of the Lord. Then bones, then dry bones. Now I'm not even thinking of my spirals. I'm just enjoying the music and the rolling. The body craves pressure. Pressure from loving hands. Pressure falling into the ground, wants to be received by the ground. It has an affinity with the ground. We are of the ground. Angela Farmer, the great yogi, who lives in Lesbos, Greece, with her artist yogi partner, Victor Van Hooven. She loves to talk about the roots of the trees, how they are deeply connected with the roots of the other trees. And we now know that the root has a brain-like tip that finds its way into the ground. It meets the neighboring roots. It meets the activities of the earth, those that burrow, those that are also sending tentacles. You can listen to whatever you love as you move. Music or silence or birds, horse. Sure. Scripture. Be very, very. Sutra. Verse. Poetry. threatened by ecumenism. The idea that there is some deep virtue residing in all religion, and great evil has been done in the name of all religions. Yes, a friend of mine says that's not true. Buddhism. So, Annabeth, this started out for you as waves. Obviously, waves in the marvelously articulated vertebra of the spine. The spine is marvelously articulated with its vertebra. Now, I have my chores. Practicing coming down into the earth. Plie. Being able to come up. I can't come up evenly. I come waving up one side, draws up, and then the other. My notion that it's only perfect if they come up together. Like that, and then you really collecting like that. And then you stay up as you go down. And you come up as you go down inside, and you go down as you go up. I can't do that because I can go up when I come down. But I feel like I need to go up. Maybe it's about pushing down. But I have to watch out because my knees are. I'm coming up inside and I'm pushing on the floor. All these years and I still don't know what a PA is. Wow. Gather, we gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. He, she, they, honor, hasten and chasten His will to make known the wicked oppressing, seize them from distressing. Sing praise to His name. She who forgets not His own. You don't have to argue with the gender of God in this video, or the history in which in the last millennia God has been male. Wow, big threatening topic. Push. Up. Push. Suck up. Push into the ground. Push. 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 I know it, but it feels good. Feels good. Feels good. To take a big football close. Reach. Drop. Okay, it's there, and you push. And you push. Reach, push. And push. Reach. Push. 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 Soft bend. Push, soft bend, push. Reach. And push. Pushing from the back foot. Pushing from the front foot. Stuff is working in here. Push. Push. You guys probably already have strength around. Push. 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 Wait, I'm anxious about that weight transfer because my knee feels funny. Push. Push. Reaching back is funny. Reach. Push. Reach. Pull. Okay, that was brushes, oh wow. Okay. Let's see the end of democracy now.
American women or women of color are becoming very healthy, strong, childbearing women, and then all of a sudden we need all of these hysterectomies. And so for that, the fight wasn't just for me. The fight was also for my sisters that I had saw that had been wrong as well. I just said I had the privilege of having an actual legal team to assist me in the journey.
I want to go to another clip from the new documentary, Belly of the Beast.
Can you give me the hysterectomy procedure, please?
Giving me some kind of test and said I got some fibroid. I was told that I have cancer cells. When it comes that I have to have my ovaries removed, I have no choice. We actually just call the surgeons of the world. Because of what happened so many people will do hysterectomy. That was a shit I left otherwise.
So that's a clip from Belly of the Beast. And we want to bring in the film's director, Erica Cohn. Erica, through your research, you determined that between 1997 and 2013, over 1,400 sterilizations were performed. Can you talk about the shocking figure and the work you did, the years you spent on this documentary?
Thank you so much for having me. We calculated that between California State Audit and prison records that nearly, as you mentioned, 1,400 sterilization procedures occurred between 1997 and 2013. And since 2014, since a bill was passed in California rendering sterilization for the purpose of birth control illegal, which I think it's important to note, it was already illegal according to state, federal, and international law. California is required to report the number of sterilization procedures performed each year and prove medical necessity around each procedure. And, one of the ways that California was able to find a loophole around these procedures previously was because they were able to classify them as medically necessary, when we know in many instances these procedures actually were not medically necessary. And so I believe that accountability, holding our institutions accountable, is the only way that we can prevent future abuses like these from happening.
Breathe.
Erica Cohen, of course, these situations happening in the last 20
Expansively.
years, there's actually a much longer history of this. So, for instance, it's
Take in the
it's
pain.
been well documented that in Puerto Rico in the
Absorb it for those who have
1940s
too
and
much.
1950s, there was a systemic sterilization of women of childbearing age. Estimates about 1/3 of all women of childbearing age in Puerto Rico were sterilized during that period, again, as a family planning or birth control system without any kind of explanation to
Jesus
the
does it
women
better.
what was actually happening. Informed consent didn't come until the 1970s or 80s as a requirement. So there's been a long history in this country of this type of oppression of women, hasn't there?
Absolutely, yes, forced sterilization is genocide. And the legacy of forced sterilization in the United States is deeply rooted in white supremacy. And my actual connection to the story comes from that eugenics history. I was first introduced to Cynthia Chandler in 2010, the attorney who's featured in the film, through a mutual friend. And I was really inspired by her work at Justice Now, specifically the Let Our Families Have a Future campaign, which really exposed the multiple ways that
Chose not to have.
prisons destroy the basic human right to family. One of the most heinous being the illegal sterilizations primarily targeting women of color. And as a Jewish woman who grew up in Salt Lake City 25 years ago, the phrase "never again" was always profoundly in the back of my mind. And when I learned there was a different kind of genocide happening through imprisonment, through forced sterilization behind bars, I knew that I wanted to get involved. And initially it was by becoming a volunteer with Justice Now, and later becoming a volunteer legal advocate working with over 150 people who were incarcerated in California's women's prisons. And as you see in the film, and as you're talking about, that history of eugenics in the United States is not something that we talk about a lot. When we hear the word eugenics, we think of Nazi Germany, we think of the Holocaust, but actually what we don't talk about is the founding of the eugenics movement in the United States, and actually how Nazi Germany came to California to learn from our eugenics leaders to take our policies and practices back.
We're gonna
Read that too
leave
fast.
it there, but do part two and have a continued conversation with you. I do want to give Kelly the last word. You have 10 seconds. What would justice look like for you?
So right now we have a petition that's on www.bellyofthebeastfam.com, excuse me, and what we're trying to do is seek compensation in order to all the survivors to not only be identified, but to be notified. Because there's a lot of hidden victims. And so we're looking for compensation for not only the survivors, but for the ones that are unknown as well.
Kelly Dillon, thanks so much for being with us as well. Thank you to Erica Cohen, Director of Belly of the Beast. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Thanks so much.
This is WFT Champaign, 90.1 FM. Listen to Democracy Now! Every weekday afternoon on WFT Community Radio as part of the West Curry Daily Information Service at WFT. On Tuesdays at 5 p.m. we bring you Sea Change Radio, followed by a program from the Women's International News Gathering Services Wings at 5:30.
4 to 6 o'clock, 90.1 FM,
Listener.
your local
Daily Bread. is a
WFT.org.
live volunteer operation located
They
at
have a
116
wonderful selection of
North First Street in
podcasts.
Champaign. Their mission is to feed the hungry of Champaign County 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Because 1 in 7 adults and 1 in 5 children in our country are food insecure, and because so many have lost jobs or are experiencing a lack of resources during the coronavirus crisis, the need is right here. While the dining room is closed during this time, good nutritious meals and sack lunches are available for pickup from the front door daily. For more information, visit dailybreadsoupkitchen.com. Guests will get a good meal and a little certainty in these uncertain times.
This hour of programming is supported by the listeners of WEFT and by the Champaign Center Partnership, who foster a vibrant, inviting, and active core downtown, midtown, and campus town by strengthening businesses and building community. The CCP vision is to create healthy and vibrant micro-urban areas for residents and visitors through marketing, advocacy, and special events. CCP encourages and educates the public to shop locally throughout the year. Local businesses need your help more than ever. When you spend $100 at a locally owned business, $68 stays in your community. For more information about the Champaign Center Partnership, visit them on their website at champaignCenter.com or feel free to call 217-352-2400.
And now for today's edition of Sea Change Radio.